Coming up tonight on News Center Now, we are live at the Yarmouth Clam Festival.
The weather's perfect for this, and it's also perfect for sand sculpting that's happening behind us. We're going to show you how they do it.
Plus, we're going to talk with the Pie Bacon Lady and meet a really cool photographer. Lots going on here. It's all coming up on News Center Now.
I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson, and we are live at the Yarmouth Clam Festival, and we're pretty darn happy about it because it's so beautiful outside. And Mr. Carson is here as well, as you can see. And boy, what a great day to get this thing rocking, huh, Keith?
Gorgeous, and I feel like, I don't have the stats on this, but the last couple of clam festivals have been beautiful.
They always are.
Sounds right.
We've been lucky. Last year was very hot.
Yeah.
Tonight, I will take it.
That's good. Tomorrow is going to be cool. I think it should be fun. Let's have a look with our dew points. That's really the main thing that we're watching here over the next 24 hours, right, is the humid air coming back into the picture. And dew points right now in the 60s and 70s. Look at that, 74 in Sanford. That is some really, really humid air, and that has led to some cloud development in spots and a couple of showers that have popped up into the mountains. Temperatures right now in the 80s. Look at Freiburg, 89. Interested to see if they got to 90. If they did, that will be an official heat wave for them, as the next 2 days are going to be a lock of 90 plus. All right, there are your showers, really pop-up popcorn stuff. But what's interesting about them is that they're scattered, but they're kind of intense little showers. If you look at them, they've got a good reflectivity. The red there indicating either some heavy downpours or perhaps some small hail. Not seeing much lightning with these at the moment, but they may kind of flare up into thunderstorms as the rest of the afternoon goes on. So our small scale model does pick up on those showers, does not get them to the coast though. Tonight, of course, is a warm and humid night, and that sets us up for such a hot day tomorrow, because if you're starting at 72, 73 degrees, you only need 20 degrees, right, to be into the mid 90s, and most of us will do that through tomorrow afternoon. And again, the humidity will be a big factor throughout. Guys, we'll talk about not only Saturday, but what looks a hot day on Sunday as well.
Alrighty, Keith, sounds good. Thank you very much. Let's check a few headlines before we get to more on the Yarmouth Clam Festival. 21 children have died already this year across the country because parents left them in hot cars. And this is a huge reminder not to leave your kids or your pets inside a hot vehicle, even for a few minutes in the summer heat. We're telling you this especially obviously because of the temperatures that are coming over the weekend. We do have a list of how communities in Maine and New Hampshire are helping their people beat the heat this coming weekend. That can be found on our website and mobile app, so you certainly want to check that out.
Boeing says it will take a major financial hit as it continues to struggle from the prolonged grounding of its 737 MAX planes. The world's largest plane maker said it would take an after-tax charge of $4.9 billion in the second quarter. The charge will cover possible compensation to airlines forced to ground flights after those MAX jets had 2 deadly accidents that killed 346 people.
Also getting a lot of attention, this crazy video of a man scaling several floors down the side of a 19-story building. This is in Philly. He was escaping a fire that injured 4 people, 3 police officers. The fire was at the Holden Tower, and it apparently began in a trash chute, causing flames to shoot out, spread heavy smoke to the floors of the high-rise, and the firefighters had it pretty much under control in an hour, and all the residents were able to escape, which is great news, obviously. All right, again, we are live at the Yarmouth Clam Festival, the 54th, and we are joined by Mary Stewart, who is with First Parish Church here in town, but also she's known as the Pie Bacon Lady, right, Mary?
Well, there's a bunch of us that are pie baking ladies, but I am one of several that work very hard to get this ready.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been working on Clam Festival for about 20 years.
Holy cow, really?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And have you improved your pies over the years?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've gotten much faster. So,
You were telling us 15 different flavors.
yep, down at the church we offer about 15 different flavors, and here at the Green we offer blueberry and strawberry rhubarb only. Oh. So I brought a piece of the blueberry to show
we're
you.
very happy about that. This has got to be a pretty major fundraising event for you guys, right?
It is. We have it as part of our budget, and I don't know exactly what the total is, but usually it's in our budget for about $25,000.
Wow.
So that's a significant amount of our expectations.
Yearly, yeah.
So
Do you ever run out of the strawberry rhubarb or
we
the
do.
blueberry?
We do. Yeah.
So
So Sunday's a little iffy sometimes. So if you want pie, get here early on Sunday.
Now it's going to be really hot over the weekend. Do you have to do anything special to make sure the pies are in
Well,
usable shape?
We do. We have a cool area that we keep them in the church, and then we have refrigeration down here at the green, so
Right.
we can keep everything safe. And fruit pies are pretty safe. There's enough acid in the mix there that it doesn't really spoil very quickly. So
I'm curious about the community of Yarmouth and the Clam Fest. Is it? I mean, it's obviously it's a great, fun thing. Is it kind of a love-hate sometimes because the crowd is just so huge and the traffic is so problematic?
a little bit. I don't know. We've embraced it since we've lived here. We didn't grow up in a place like this, so it's been really fun to be part of this community. I've worked everything almost over on there, from lacrosse trash cleanup to music boosters and parking lots for swim team and other organizations. So it's been I think it's a very positive thing that happens here in town, and it's a good community feeling for people. We have people that come and volunteer at church that don't belong to our church, and that come here in the summer for other things, and then they come to church and just to volunteer because they like the feeling
Isn't
of
that
Clam
nice?
Festival.
Isn't
so
that nice?
yeah, it's really great.
All right.
So,
Well, we got to try that
Baking all those
pie.
pies. I know.
We'll
Yeah.
throw to a commercial break and we will try this pie.
Bring a
So
fork.
good, Mary.
Oh, no worries.
make
We
it
don't
work.
need forks, Mary.
So
We'll take a quick break. Coming up, Netflix suddenly has a little bit of a problem to deal with.
Yeah, we'll tell you about that. Also, a new addition to the Yarmouth Clam Festival this year. It may inspire you the next time you're at the beach. We'll explain.
And welcome back to News Center Now. We are live at the Yarmouth Clam Festival, the 54th annual Yarmouth Clam Festival.
Exactly. And we have so much more fun in store, but we're going to get back to some headlines right now, real quick. Taking a look at those now, more pregnant women are using marijuana during and after their pregnancy. That's according to a new study from Kaiser Permanente out this morning. Researchers analyzed data from nearly 277,000 pregnant women who reported their marijuana use. In the year before pregnancy, marijuana use increased from nearly 7% in 2009 to over 12% in 2017. And when it comes to use during pregnancy, rates increased from close to 2% to over 3%. Studies that had been done before show marijuana use during pregnancy has been linked to low birth weight in the baby.
Have you noticed how many pregnant women stories we've been doing lately?
No, that must not be a coincidence.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Oh man, something else we talk a great deal
Yeah.
about is Netflix, and it's lost paid subscribers for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah, Netflix says it's lost 126,000 paid subscribers, and that's just in the United States. Analysts had expected Netflix to actually gain more than 350,000 new subscribers during the second quarter of this year, and the company also missed its own forecast for global subscriber growth by more than 2 million. Netflix says the loss of customers was most pronounced in regions that saw price increases and not due to any particular competition from other streaming services. And the defection of U.S. subscribers comes after Netflix did bump up its prices earlier this year. Now to doorbell cams, okay? More and more people are getting these, and they are raising some privacy concerns.
Yeah, police departments across the country are now partnering with this technology, the company Ring specifically, to fight crime and create a sort of modern-day neighborhood watch. But critics say that these partnerships raise privacy concerns and turn neighborhoods into places of constant surveillance. They also say Ring, that subsidiary of Amazon, appears to be marketing its cameras by stirring up fear of crime at a time when it's actually decreasing. Ring says sharing video with law enforcement is always voluntary and privacy is protected, but one critic says the subsidies allow Amazon to use taxpayer funds to expand into people's private lives. Straight ahead on News Center Now, we're going to learn some tips and tricks from the pros on how to build the perfect sandcastle.
And they are pros. Yeah. Plus, Keith's scorching weekend forecast coming up too. All right, this coming up is really fun, and it's something I think it doesn't really matter your age. You're really interested in specifically how do they do that, right?
Right. We're talking about sand sculptures. And when you see one, right, you have to stop and think, how do they do that? Well, it takes hours to make one. It can take tons of sand. It's happening behind us right now as we speak. And it's a new feature of the Clam Festival this year, Sandfest. But today we talked to some of the artists about how we could step up our own sandcastle game.
It's very zen-like when you get into the zone. You just kind of sit there and...
Albert Lucio remembers the day he picked up a skill he never thought he would.
A friend of mine had said, hey, there's this big party on the beach where they build these giant sand sculptures. We should go there to get free parking and meet girls. And I did not get free parking. I did not meet girls. He didn't even show up, which was the worst part.
But that day he left the beach with a new hobby, sand sculpting. And he's traveled from Austin, Texas to Yarmouth, Maine in time for the Clam Festival. This year, a new edition, Sandfest, with game-inspired creations.
In my sculpture, participants can go and play the game. There's instructions on how to find the clues in the sculpture of who the murderer is, what room, and the weapon.
8 sculptors from all over the country and Canada using 60 tons of sand.
These are all my friends. We've all been competing against each other for, some of us, 9 years now.
Skowhegan native Amanda Bolduck says they're used to traveling together, competing in the sun and on the snow. She says they do this year-round simply because they love it. Back in her home state, she's hoping to inspire future sculptors and is sharing some pointers to get started.
So you have to find the right sand in order for it to hold together. I find that Ogunquit Beach here in Maine is amazing. Popham, you can do some stuff. And even Pemaquid, I found that you can do some stuff with the sand there.
She says the biggest misconception is that artists use glue to hold it all together. She says any of these artists will tell you it's just a little water and a lot of sweat. Before they start a new piece, each artist shovels and packs in 7 to 10 tons of sand.
It should be the new CrossFit.
Is it exhausting?
It's very exhausting.
Yeah, it certainly is a workout, and it's probably better that they're doing the bulk of the sculpting today.
Yeah,
They will
yeah.
end at noontime tomorrow. And then if you're here, stick around 2 o'clock. They're going to announce the winners of the sand sculpting contest.
It's going to be tough.
Yes.
It's going to be really tough because they're all amazing.
Yeah.
As is Keith Carson, of course.
Little water and a ton of sweat. Isn't that the motto of your career?
Yes, it is.
I think that's...
There's some blood in there, too.
No, it's a lot of water and just a little sweat.
Yeah,
actually.
that is true. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be hot. And if you haven't heard about it by now, I don't know where you've been. It's been such a big deal. I almost wonder if it could feel as hot as people think it's going to feel at this point.
Right. We've built it up.
Like the
I think it
headlines
still
I've
will.
seen are like, Saturday, you're going to be in the middle of hell. Like
Right.
it's not,
Right.
it's going to be hot. It's going to be in the mid-90s. How about that? Let's start with where we are right now, which is actually comfortable here in Yarmouth. It's not bad.
Very.
But
Very.
as you go inland, the dew points are a lot higher, so it's a lot stickier away from the coast. Look at Freiburg, 70, 74 in Sanford, and 65 in Augusta. But you can see that coastal influence. Dew points are in the 60s there. Temperatures vary greatly too. You got a little bit of an ocean influence along the coast. That's where temperatures are kept down at the moment to the 70s. But out towards Freiburg, 89 in Sanford, and 92 in Concord, New Hampshire. So they have a chance. It will actually probably be a heat wave for them, 3 consecutive days of 90 plus there. Got a couple of showers and thunderstorms that have popped up as a result of some of the more humid and moist air. And these showers, they're not severe. Some of them are not even thunderstorms, but they've got tight little cores to them. But they've got a lot of reflectivity coming through. So you're looking at some heavy downpours, perhaps a little small hail in that. That'll settle down tonight. It's a warm evening. Most of us spend a lot of the night in the 70s, and some of us never get any cooler than that. So we end up 71, 72 tomorrow morning. And then of course, it's not hard from there to get into the 90s, which we'll do. Now, the only thing that's changed a little bit since we looked at this, say, on Monday of this week, is that there will be a bit more of a sea breeze. So it'll be a quick high in places north of Wiscasset along the coastline, and then drops back down in the afternoon. Inland, though, we bake through the day and into the evening. Overnight lows there in the mid-70s in some spots by Sunday morning. Sunday's equally as hot in a lot of spots. There's more showers and thunderstorms. To the north of those showers, it will be cooler. To the south, back into the 90s once again, and we'll make a few runs into the upper 90s on southwestern parts of the state and into New Hampshire, the Lakes region of New Hampshire, especially before things settle down on Monday. So high temperatures, again, we've been looking at this map all week, just some little tweaks to it. 90s for most of us. I do still have 100 in Sanford. I think that we have a pretty good shot to get there, so we'll see. And then Sunday, again, not much improvement there with temperatures in the upper 90s. Probably not 100 there on Sunday, but still very, very warm stuff. And then nicer on Monday. So your 7-day forecast shows an extreme and then quite a bit of relief as we get into the middle of the week. And I'd say for a lot of people, next week is going to be a more comfortable week, more desirable week for people other than Lee and Cindy who like to bake.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much. So if you've ever been to the Yarmouth Clam Festival, here I'll take my glasses off, you know that there is a lot to see beyond the carnival and the food. There is great art, crafts, sculpture, and photographs. And with us now is Abner Ophir, who is a photographer up from Washington, D.C., right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I was wandering around and I was just so taken by your stuff. I think number one, I just love big, bold things,
Yes.
and I think that's what you're displaying here. So first, thank you for being with us. Talk about this piece you're holding, because I just think it is spectacular.
Thank you so much. So this one I took in Argentina back in 2007.
Okay.
It is definitely my signature piece. It's one of those photos that it takes a long time to get, and I worked really hard to get, and I'm very, very proud of. I met these street performers dancing in Argentina on the streets of Buenos Aires, and literally introduced myself as a photographer and asked if I could follow them around. And they're like, sure, no problem. Ended up walking with them for 4 hours straight through the neighborhood taking photos. And as an artist, I wanted to push my limits, see if I can do something different.
Yeah.
So after about 3-4 hours, I was like, well, let's find a different perspective. There's only so much you can do when they're dancing on the street.
Right.
So I
were
saw
you
the-
up on a stairwell or something?
So I found this old balcony, ended up finding a rickety way to climb up there. I was leaning over, and literally the second I leaned over to take a photo, they came together, and that one energy moment, and just that one split second of just pure magic. And I was able to capture that shot.
And you knew you had it.
I knew I had it.
Yeah.
The second I had it, I was
Yeah.
like, that's the one. Yeah,
You're welcome
definitely.
to come on vacation anytime with Clay and I to document it like this. Because we dance like this on vacation.
Oh,
so.
very
Oh,
nice.
there you go. Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
So how about this one here?
Yeah.
So this is actually more local. This is actually in upstate New York, in
Okay.
Taconic State Park.
Sure.
It's an old historical state park with a little, it used to be a brick factory, and this was the housing that the workers lived in. And I just love the rusticness
Mm-hmm.
of this and the peacefulness and the way it just comes out and just, documenting a piece of history that now it's gone. So I really love that one.
Sure.
talk
Yeah. And
about
this
this
is
one,
actually
yeah.
my latest work. I just got back from Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
And I met this family in the park playing and just having fun and having picnic. And the kids were playing with these bubble makers. And I was intrigued, not only with the kids having fun, but the bubbles themselves and the shapes and the colors and the prism of light that
Yeah,
was
they
going
grabbed the
through.
light, right?
Yeah, and so it was one of those things that just kind of like was different than what I'm usually do. And I was attracted to do something different again. And just as an artist, I was like, well, let's see what I can make out of it. And this one's printed on metal, on aluminum, so it really has that vibrancy and shine to
It's
it.
very glossy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were talking before with Abner too, kind of about the life of an artist, and especially this time of year, you're traveling to various events like this, right?
Yeah, so this is my full-time job. I've been doing this for over 20 years now. There's a lot of different festivals around the country. I tend to stay a lot in DC area, do a lot of local art shows, but then I do the road trip. Last week I was in Pennsylvania, heading up to upstate New York to Rochester for another show in the next couple weeks. And yeah, that's basically full-time.
And you say you've been selling some stuff here today, right?
Oh yeah, people love me here. I love it.
So I imagine we'll see you
And
back
I love
here next
them.
year.
You know,
Right.
I've been here for 7 years, and I'm not planning to stop. Yeah, I love
Great,
Maine.
Very
Great.
cool.
It's so great talking to you, Abner.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
good luck with the. Good luck hoping these make it through the 100 degrees tomorrow and the next day,
Yes.
right?
It's not going to be that bad.
Well, let's
I
hope
come
not.
from DC. This
Okay,
is nothing.
right. Okay, good.
True,
Good point. Good point. Good
Abner,
point.
thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
All right, we're going to send it back to the studio where we can find Cindy, who has a preview of what's coming up tonight on News Center Maine at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. The heat we are expecting could be very dangerous to some people and to pets. So we want to make sure that people are aware of the signs that there is trouble, both in themselves and their pets, and also that people know where they can escape to find some relief from the heat. We've got all that for you. Plus, today's weather was perfect for celebrating outdoors as a group of Mainers who say they often feel invisible are showing their pride and finding a lot of love and acceptance in the process. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, sounds good, Cindy. Thank you very much.
All right, we're back from the Yarmouth Clam Festival live after this.
Not seeing it.
All right, so we're back. Rare field raindrops today. But up our alley, so June was just a normal month for us in Maine, but they just released the data on June 2019.
Uh-oh.
The warmest global June in recorded history.
Was
so
it
back
really?
to 1880. Now, 1 month does not make a pattern, of course, it being the warmest since the 1800s. Is something, but here's something.
Okay.
It is the 414th consecutive month globally that we were above average. So that's your kind of show-stopping
Yeah.
status. Nowhere in there was there even a step backwards at all in the March.
You would think
upward.
there'd just be one aberration, at least. You know, one.
You would. And actually, I had somebody who brought up a really good statistical point. If you were to say nothing is happening and this is all natural, figure out, say every year is a 50-50 shot of being above or below average. 414 times in a row, what are your odds of that happening? It's like flipping tails 414
Right.
times in a row.
Right.
So just another piece of data to add to what we already kind of know, right?
Right.
But what strikes me about it is that June here was nothing to speak of, and that's
Right.
why you always, it's hard to look outside your back window, but globally is always what we're talking
I was
about.
just talking with some fishermen yesterday who say summer really just started,
Yeah.
for them especially because June was so
It's cool.
so rainy.
And then we start off, and now we're here. And I thought it was also topical because it's going to be so warm. Don't confuse weather with climate, though. The fact that it's 95 tomorrow, that just happens.
Right,
you know?
right. Just
All right.
happens. All right,
Well,
that's
that
going to do
does
it for News Center Now.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.